Ain't nobody touching my Doritos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of 1911 Syndicate.
Yep.
We are here today in beautiful, what is this, Ukraine?
Yeah.
Sarajevo?
Yeah. We just, avoiding some bombs and
Trying to fight communism out here, people.
doing our part.
And today we're talking about this beautiful taupe Knights SR-15. But before we get into this, Jake, tell the people what they need to know.
Basics, guys. We really don't take money from anyone, so we keep this a shill-free experience. In order to keep the show going, the way that we do it is we basically sponsor it ourselves. The 1911 Syndicate is a real estate company. I know you get so tired of hearing about it, but it's how we actually keep the lights on. So if you'd like to support us, that would be a great way that you can do it. We've got Patreon linked below if you're ever feeling generous. And we wanted to give actually a thank you to these guys. Just kind of a shout out. Go ahead. Oh, I was shutting up so you talk. Yeah.
No, I was waiting for you to talk and just showing the tag.
Yeah, well, Sly Tactical has been a brand that we've worked with for a while now. It's just been a really good relationship. This is really not even meant to be a sales pitch. Sometimes you just connect with people and it's brands where it's like you get them, they get you. And so we do thank them for their support. They make awesome slings. We've got 15% off, I think is what people get. 1911 Syndicate code. We've got that down below. So anyway, check them out. Just kind of a special thanks to those guys who've been really great to work with. So
appreciate you guys. Love you both. Justin and Kevin, thank you again.
Right on.
So, let's get into the Knights.
Yep.
As you can tell, this is not the standard Knights color.
Yeah, which this would be.
Correct.
AKA black.
This is a limited edition release in 2019. 2019. A swap buddy of mine, I had originally your model, 11.5-inch CQB, and a swap buddy of mine in Arizona was like, you ever want to trade that? I'm like, well, it depends. What do you got?
For what?
And he showed up with this. He wanted the CQB because you can't find them. You know, I've had this for about a year now. Couldn't find him a year ago, and he wanted it for work. And so we just did a straight trade.
Yeah.
And did he make out? Did I make out? It's still kind of up in the air.
We'll talk about it, I guess.
We're going to get into that. So my history with Knights, before I get into this gun, I had a Knights URX 3.1. It was actually like my first rifle.
Yeah, cool.
My first, AR style rifle. I had a piston driven ACR. This was my first rifle.
Yeah.
Which they were cool and they promised, anyways.
Yeah.
And then this gun guy, like, when we first get into guns, we have that mentor, like a gun mentor that kind of shows us the ropes a little bit.
And if you don't, you buy bullshit.
You buy bullshit. And we were just kind of shooting the shit, talking, and I was like, if you could buy one rifle, he was really into guns, I was new into it, and he's like, oh, Knights, yeah, URX 3.1.
Yeah.
I was like, cool. I bought it like 2 days later.
Cool.
Had no clue what I had at all.
Yeah.
And then fast forward like a year, me and my wife traveled the country in a trailer, and I had to sell a bunch of shit because I only could fit what I could in a trailer.
Sure.
So I sold my 3.1 for what I bought it for, not knowing what I had. Because again, I was new into guns. I just thought it was like a standard AR.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just ignorant to it. Looking back, damn, I wish I didn't sell that rifle.
Right. We've all got those couple guns where you're like, I'm so mad that I sold that thing. Yep.
Right. So that's kind of my history with Knights, and I didn't have a Knights for a while until I picked up that 11.5 CQB, and now here we are with this full-length SR-15.
Yeah.
Sometimes these will be called the SR-16. It's a common mistake. The only difference is this. That's a select fire version. This is the semi-auto version.
Yep.
Okay, so civilian, military.
Yep.
So in my book, it's kind of interchangeable because we're just talking about select fire.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's same components.
Same shit, yeah.
So, and details on this gun. So we're going to work kind of front to back, but the rifle itself was $2,700 when they released them. It was just a limited taupe run, so it's still kind of a standard price. They were like $100 more than a normal one.
Yeah.
But just a little more.
Yep. Did they do the CQBs in that color too?
I've never seen them in that color.
God,
I
want one. I want one if there is out there.
If there is, and some guys might get, mad at us that, it is out there, but regardless.
Yeah, if you're a shop that has them, let me know. Yep.
As this rifle sits exactly how it's built, and I'm going to get into all the parts, it's right around $4,600 to $4,800, depending on where you buy parts from.
Sure.
Okay. So we got a Helios K direct thread, which is
it considered a K? I thought it was just Helios DT direct thread.
Oh, no, yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Gosh dang, sorry,
There's a
guys.
Hyperion K, and we've been shooting Hyperion Ks lately, so.
Sorry, guys. It's just a Helios direct thread. I'm sorry.
Okay. Making sure I wasn't
No,
crazy on that.
it's always me, Jake. I'm the one that makes mistakes.
Okay. Well, yeah, no. You heard it here first, everyone.
That can sits right at $1,000, $9.99.
That's actually a good price for that can.
Yep. And I Googled all these numbers and researched all the websites. So if you find it for a different price, cool. This is the price that I looked up. Okay. I got a BCM QD M-Lock for my sling. That'll run you $18.
Same.
Magpul textured grip panels. Pack of 6 will run you $13.
Which usually come with the gun, by the way.
Yeah.
Mine came with grip panels.
Yeah, I can't remember if I took these off my 11.5 and threw them on here or what the case was. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Great grip panels, mitigate some of the heat when you're shooting suppress. Nice. And for $13, you can't beat it.
Great product.
Now, underneath is a new product that I've been running for about 2 months now, Driven Arms Co. It's just a hand stop. A buddy of mine was chit-chatting with the owner of it, and he bought this for me. And was like, hey man, run this in some of your videos, see if you like it. And I'm one of those guys, I like to run different stuff, and I'm always switching out parts.
Yeah.
So threw that on, that'll run you $28. We got your Unity riser. That'll run you, what are those, 95. Optic. Now, a lot of people have not shot these or seen them. It's a Leupold LCO. It's their red dot. In my opinion, it's one of the most crisp red dots on the market.
I actually really like it.
Isn't
I've
it
never
nice?
owned one, but whenever I play with yours, I'm like, it's a crisp dot, man.
Right?
Big window.
Big window, good dot, shake awake feature. It's water resistant to like 15 meters or something.
Yeah.
Great optic. I have not replaced the battery in this, and I've had this thing for 3 years. So kind of cool. That'll run you anywhere from $6.99 to $7.99. Now they did discontinue this because they discontinued this. Anyways, it's not like I'm saying, yeah. Anyways, moving on back. Trigger. So this is their 2-stage match trigger, which I run Geisley SSAs in all my guns, which are 4.5 pound triggers. That's a 4.5 pound trigger. I feel no need to change that trigger. It's the same as an SSA. I really like SSAs. So
yeah, I agree. I said for anyone, just to address something real quick. So this is my 11.5 Night, so it's CQB, basically same guns. Mine's short barrel. But I shoot 2 years ago or something when I did the review on this, same thing I said about the trigger. I'm like, look, there's better triggers, but this is good enough to me where it's in the category of like, I would never spend money to replace it. No. It's good. It's a good trigger.
And if I wanted like a full length rifle like this to reach out to like 300, 400, 500 consistently, yeah, I might do it.
Yeah, sure.
This I'm running a red dot, no magnifier, so I mean that trigger's great, man.
Yeah.
I really, really like it. Moving on back, this gun, we're gonna get into kind of the features here and then go back into the parts, but it is a fully ambidextrous gun, which for you guys, I really appreciate.
I use all the ambi shit, yeah.
And with a lot of people, there's kind of the top 3, LMT Mars lower for ambidextrous stuff, Knights, and then AXTS, or sorry, Radian.
Radian, yeah.
Radian.
Yeah.
I said AXTS because, moving on back, this is an AXTS charging handle.
You got an oldie.
OG, dude.
It's got an oldie.
Yep. So that's when Radian used to be called AXTS.
Yeah.
This charging handle's been on like 5 different guns.
Yep.
I beat the piss out of it. It's still going strong.
I got one on mine too.
Wait, is yours AXTS or is it Radian?
That one is Radian SD, so mine's the suppressed version. Yep.
Yeah. So those will run you $119. BCM Mod 3 grip, that'll run you $18. This is one of the more expensive parts on the gun, my stock. This is a LMT SOP mod stock. LaRue Tactical had it for sale last night at $244.
What?
$244.
Jesus.
I bought this for $150, so from a buddy. Whew. So, like I said, as this gun sits, we're right around $4,600, $4,700, $4,800, plus or minus, depending on prices. And of course, much like we mentioned in the beginning of the video, topped off with a beautiful Sly Tactical sling. So, that's how this gun's built out. I've enjoyed running it so far. I've had it with a muzzle device so I could run dead air stuff. Recently, obviously, took that off and been running direct thread, which we'll do a video on that in the future. I am really leaning heavily towards direct threaded guns. So, and we'll get into that in the future. So, overall weight of this gun when it's naked, no parts, is right at 6 pounds.
Okay.
Some websites said 6.2 to 6.4. So let's just round down 6, okay? Their handguard is their URX4, all M-lock, all around it, which is awesome for mounting any accessories you need.
Yeah, 7-side.
Yep, 7-sided. And aesthetically, I think it's one of the better handguards out there.
Yeah, it's slim. It's very functional.
Yeah.
It
feels robust.
I was gonna say the QD.
Yep.
Obviously built in.
Yeah. So that is one nice thing about what Knights does is built-in QD points here. Castle Nut and obviously most stocks have a QD point.
Yeah, I don't really like honestly how they do their QDs off to the side here. Yeah. I'm actually not a fan of that. I just want it flush on the back of that end plate there.
Yeah.
Just personal preference thing.
Yeah, which, you know, they might be able to figure that out and mill that, but what do we know? Barrel, because I know people are going to be interested. 16-inch hammer forged barrel that then they heat treat after they hammer it and put in the lands and grooves. It is a 1 in 7 twist, and something unique about their barrels, and this is pretty well known, they're good up to 20,000 rounds.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think everyone pretty much agrees on that.
Yeah, their barrels are awesome.
Yep.
Awesome.
Really, really good. And then we're going to kind of get into why Knights is Knights.
Yeah.
Because you have Knights Nut Riders, which I will say I'm a Knights Nut Rider. I also like a lot of other rifles. One of the downsides that people say about Knights is that it's proprietary stuff.
Sure.
Which I understand, but if the rifle is not guaranteed, but pretty generally accepted to run 20K with no issues.
Most people are never going to shoot 20,000 rounds on a rifle.
Correct.
And I get it. Everyone's going to comment, I got 75,000 rounds. I've never done anything.
No, you don't.
You're probably lying.
Yeah.
You're probably lying.
You probably have 75 rounds.
Yeah.
I mean, we shoot a ton. We shoot more than your average shooter.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
And that's why kind of the proprietary stuff on a Knights doesn't necessarily bother me that much. One of the proprietary things is they have a straight gas tube system, and their gas block is mated to the barrel, and I believe it threads in a little bit, so there's no gas leakage coming out of the gas block at all. And then they have this kind of set screw system that threads the gas tube into the gas block, so that mates up a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the idea is there's no gas leaking out in little seams and stuff. So the gun's gonna function and run properly for a very long time.
Yeah.
Especially suppressed.
I was gonna say suppressed, you know, maybe can we go down that rabbit hole for a second?
I'm gonna get into it
Okay.
here in a minute.
Yeah.
Yep, just hold on, little buddy.
Yeah.
Hold on. Their gas system is, they say it's close to a mid-length. It's between a mid-length and a carbine length from what forums say. Their website says it's close to a mid-length, so I'm just gonna go with that.
Okay.
Okay. The heart and soul of their guns, in my opinion, is the bolt and bolt carry group. They do
Yes.
things a little bit different.
Yes.
And this is where it becomes really pretty proprietary and unique to them.
Yes.
There are some other companies doing similar things to their bolts, but Knights is kind of well known for their E3 bolt, which basically, standard bolts on ARs have 90-degree angles for the lugs, right? Knights rounds theirs, and then it meets up into the chamber of the barrel better, so you have better kind of overall seating of the round. Because the lugs are rounded, it unlocks as it's cycling a new round smoother and locks in smoother, which Papa Grand talks about. He's like, if you shoot enough, you will notice that a Knights cycles a little bit smoother than a standard AR, and it's because those 90-degree angles on a standard AR.
Yeah.
And I think I shoot enough to actually notice that.
I mean, mine at this point is a well-worn gun, very rarely gets cleaned.
And only shot suppressed.
And exclusively shot suppressed, and damn, that action is so smooth on mine after a couple years.
So they did a couple other things to that bolt. So they rounded the lugs. It has a dual extractor spring system.
Yeah, two.
That's what dual means.
Yeah.
And then their extractor itself has what they call a rounded T-shape or a butterfly shape.
Yeah.
And what that allows is just smoother extraction.
Yep.
And the dual springs in conjunction with that make it so if one fails, the other one will still run the gun.
Yeah.
Until you can fix that part.
It's a butterfly.
Yep.
Yeah.
They reduce the cam pin size in these. And what that allows is a little bit thicker walls in the bolt.
Yeah.
But because the cam pin's a little smaller, their firing pin's a little smaller also. So it's all kind of a little proprietary system, but overall what it allows is a little bit thicker material in the parts that matter.
Beefy.
And what all this does, because the rounded lugs, the cam pin, et cetera, is the whole system shines really, really well suppressed. And they tout that and use that as kind of like a stamp of, hey, our guns with this proprietary stuff really run good suppressed.
And they're not lying either.
Have you had any malfunctions, any issues with yours?
I can't recall one, honestly.
Not one?
No.
Okay.
I swapped the buffer. You know, mine came with 2 buffers. It was like, hey, if you're running unsuppressed, use this one. If you're running suppressed, use this one. I mean, it's like, okay, cool. That takes 5 seconds to change. Even my dummy brain can pull off that. And never had a single issue. I mean, even the gas is very minimal. Because, mind you, I'm a lefty.
Yep.
It's like, I know when I got a gassy gun in my hand.
Gas, dude.
And it's like, damn, these things run good suppressed.
Yeah, I mean, I took a friend out, and he's a shooter, but like, you know, not a lot of suppressed. And I had him run a gun that has an adjustable gas block and is tuned for a suppressor. And then he ran this next to it, and he's like, this by far is less gassy.
Damn. Yeah.
Noticeable.
Yeah.
And he doesn't shoot a lot of suppressed. So it was pretty cool to get like an objective, neutral opinion on it.
Cool.
So what the last kind of component of what they say with their whole system, especially suppressed, is it then also shines full auto. Because of the enhanced bolt, the gas system, the thicker walls and the bolt and bolt carrier group and all the other things, that made it up with a suppressor. They say if it's a 15, sustained semi-auto fire for a very long time with no issues. If you have a 16, the full auto version, they also say even under full auto, that whole system suppressed is good. Like good to go, meant to run suppressed for a very long time.
I've never shot a full auto Nights, and I would like to.
Well, we might be able to arrange that. Total rounds I have through this gun, unsuppressed, maybe 700 to 800. I'm probably at 2,000 to 2,500. So all the other rounds have been suppressed, whether it's dead air or this.
Okay.
I am gonna go into a little bit of a bad experience now. With this rifle. So when I traded for this rifle, I flew up here with it, literally like 2 days later.
Oh yeah.
And we went out with the whole crew from Dead Air and Flux. And everyone's like, dude, that gun's dope. Like, let's shoot it. And I'm like, hell yeah, let's get it. You know, Mike Pappas himself threw on a Dead Air flash hider. We threw on.
Oh yeah, that's
You remember that?
Jeez, yeah.
I had Mike Pappas himself throw the flash hider on this, and then we ran the Nomad tie on it. Now, I have kind of a thing when I get new rifles, I like to throw the first like 10 rounds through them. I just feel like it's like driving a new car. You want to put the first couple miles on it, right?
I don't care, but
Oh,
sure.
you don't?
Yeah.
It's just like when I get a new gun, I want to be the first one to, I don't know why. It's just like a little weird
Whatever
thing.
makes you happy, big guy.
Yeah, and it did make me happy.
Yeah.
Until unsuppressed, I pointed in, took a shot, went to take another shot, click. It's like, huh, you know, newer gun, rack it, bang, click. And everyone there, the whole energy was like, burr, 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 burr.
That's a really expensive gun.
And I was like, well, I just traded a CQB for a single shot musket.
Yeah.
Now, suppressed, the gun would run all day.
Yeah.
And so I called that cop and was like, dude, what the shit? And he's like, I never had issues with it. And I was like, did you run it unsuppressed? And he's like, no, never. And I was like, okay. So then I had to pass this off to someone, and he worked his magic on it, and he had it for 3 weeks. 3 weeks. And he calls me and he's like, Chris, he's a Nights guy. He's like, I have no idea what the shit is wrong with this gun. So he's like, give me a couple more days. I'm going to make some phone calls. So now he's had it for a month. Calls me back and he's like, I got good news and bad news. I'm like, what's going on, dude? He's like, well, could not figure out how to get that gun running unsuppressed with any rounds, M855, everything.
Yeah.
He's like, however, I took a bolt carrier group out of my other Nights, threw it in, and it runs flawlessly now unsuppressed. Turns out the bolt carrier group was out of spec. So I had a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth with this because, you know, it's a almost $3,000 standalone rifle. It's very expensive. And you hear all this Gucci stuff about Nights, and we just went over all the Gucci stuff. Having said that, we all know this is pretty clear. The military gets the best of Nights stuff.
Nature of the beast, man.
The scraps are kind of given to the commercial market. I've heard that from multiple people. I think you've heard that.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's kind of apparent.
I don't think that's even particularly like industry secret.
I don't think so either. And to be fair, it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, how about we just let everyone have the same shit?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys watching, if you don't get this, I mean, Nights caters heavily to military contracts. Heavily. Like, I mean, it's really all that. I'm not even shitting on Nights here.
No.
Good on you. Trust me. I wish I had some military contract to make some money.
Selling
like
some
Nights.
houses to the military?
Yeah, it sounds fantastic. But like Nights makes their nut, if you will, on military contracts. Civilians is kind of a secondary thing. Kind of like,
Peasants.
hey, yeah, you know, you can get what's left, but hey, the big boys, they're getting the guns.
Yeah, the really inspected, finely tuned stuff. So, having said all the good things and then kind of the bad taste in my mouth, now with a new bolt carrier group, I've had 0 issues suppressed or unsuppressed. And like I said, I'm about at 1/10-ish of what this gun is going to be able to run without any issues.
Yeah.
I was playing around with the idea of like kind of getting another gun, you know, and replacing this with another gun. Man, I'm still on the fence, but I think I'm going to keep it, man.
I don't like the idea of you selling that. As your father, I don't like the idea of you selling that. I feel uncomfortable with it.
But I think it's still a good gun. Now again, having that bad taste, kind of going full circle, got it figured out. It's been running flawlessly. And when you pull this out, people are like, dude, a taupe nights? Like, they're just really hard to find.
Yeah, it's dope.
So, yeah.
They're great. I mean, I've always loved mine. I brought mine out just for sort of contrast sake. We've done a video on this before that was very early Syndicate content. I'll tell you one thing, just a lefty perspective. If you get a Knights, there's a couple of things, like you have to change the safety because the ambi safety for a lefty is kind of almost like, what's the point of having an ambi safety here?
It's shaved down for a righty.
They shave it down, so it's like, it's an ambidextrous part that's made for a righty. So I'm kind of like, we got to get rid of that. So I threw in a radian on that.
What you should have done is just switch the switches.
But now it's like sometimes I'll be running thumbs same side for more precision shit, and it's just like I just want the same paddles.
I understand.
I want the same paddles. But you know, for as expensive as the guns are, you do have to change some shit out when it comes because you got to change the charging handle. Terrible.
I hate their charging handle.
Their safety, depending on who you are, you're going to change it out. The grip, terrible. Like there's all this shit that you actually have to replace. I don't know if yours did yours comes with iron sights?
Yeah, I don't run iron sights.
Yeah. So for me, it was in the why not category on this, but those are like $300. So that is a value that does come with your gun because a lot of the ARs I've been getting lately don't come with any sights at all. So it's like, okay, well that's, you know, $150 to $300 I got to go spend.
And their sights are some of the best sights on the market.
Yeah, they're kind of I'd say they're kind of the gold standard. Yep. So that's good, but I mean, yeah, they're pretty damn good guns. I mean, hey, occasionally you have some shit happens. They have BCGs out of spec or whatever. It's like, yeah, you know, shit happens.
You know, and people will gripe about that in the gun industry, but we all agree that there are lemons made sometimes. You get a TV, sometimes it's not working. You get a car, sometimes it's not working. Lemons get made on highly manufactured things. Yeah. Sometimes you get a lemon. Yeah. So that's why you run your shit, go shoot, put it through the paces to make sure it's nice and reliable.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. But it is still, to date, probably, I'm speaking to mine, even though they're the same gun, just minus the length. It's still probably that gun that I'm going to rock and roll with. If whatever pops off, it's like, that's probably my pick.
Yeah. And I think, you know, we're getting off topic here, a little tangent. I do need to pick up an 11.5.
Yes, you do.
Because your 11.5 with that suppressor is a end of the world gun.
Yeah. So. Yeah. It's kind of a perfect build.
Yep. One last thing, famously, all these kind of proprietary things are from Eugene Stoner, kind of a godfather of pushing the envelope for AR-15 stuff. He was at Knights when he did the E3 bolt and all that good stuff. He's known to be kind of, like I said, the godfather of ARs. Yeah. So guns have been put through their paces. You can Google any unit of almost any U.S. unit, any branch of the military, someone's going to have a Knights somewhere. Like, they're just very well, like, respected guns in the military. Some civilians hate on them and stuff, but at the end of the day, like, it's a gun I'd trust my life to. It failed me in the beginning, but it's run great with 2,000 rounds thus far.
Yeah, dope.
So, that's all I got for you, Jake.
Cool. Well, let's wrap this bad boy up. Nice to see you guys. Hope you're doing well. Hope you enjoyed a drink as you watch this.
We had a lot of drinks last night.
A lot of drinks.
Feeling it.
If we're looking a little sluggish, that's why. We had a little dinner party of men. We had men.
He made
dinner
meatloaf.
I made meatloaf, and
Buster can attest. Buster was there.
Yeah. It was good. It was good. It was fancy, and I got a special cheese to pair with bourbons.
A whiskey cheese.
It's true, actually. Yeah. Tennessee whiskey cheese. So anyway, I'm not saying this to attract females, but I'm just saying I can cook, ladies, and I am available. So hit your boy up in the DMs.
Literally crickets in those DMs, dude. In fact, you're gonna get dudes that are be like, I'll be your girlfriend.
I don't want to. I don't want to do that. I'm out.
Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. You guys have a good day. Hope you guys are enjoying a nice drink, and we'll see you next time.